Hi everyone, we're in Chapter 7, Electricity and Electrical Safety. And in this section, 7-3, we're going to talk about practice electrical equipment safety. So when you guys are working with electricity, you must always be concerned with your own safety as well as the safety of your clients. All electrical equipment should be inspected regularly to determine whether it is in safe working order. Careless electrical connections and overload circuits can result in electrical shock, burns, even a serious fire. So now we're going to talk about safety devices. So a wire that is large enough to carry the electrical current passing through it will overheat. Now the heating element in your hair dryer, that heats up because it is not large enough to carry the electrical current. So heating elements are designed to overheat and are safe when used properly. However, when the electrical wires in your wall overheat, that can cause a fire. Now, if excess current passes through a circuit or a fuse, the circuit breaker turns off the circuit and it does prevent overheating. So we're going to talk about some electrical safety devices that you may encounter when you're working in your salon or barber shop. So the first one that we're going to talk about is a fuse. And I put them up here. So a fuse, what it does is it prevents excess current from passing through a circuit. Now it is designed to blow out or melt when the wires become too hot from overloading the circuit with too much current, such as when faulty equipment, too many appliances are connected to an electrical source, or anything like that. Now, to reestablish the circuit, what you want to do is disconnect the appliance, check all the connections and the insulation, insert a new fuse, and then reconnect the appliance. Fuses are often found in older buildings and that haven't been renovated or modernized. Years ago, I used to live in a house that had fuses rather than a circuit breaker, and every time I would be in the bathtub, it would blow a fuse, and I'd always have to get up, get out of the tub in the dark, and fumble around looking for a fuse, and then go outside on the back door, right on the wall. Outside there was a little fuse box, and I'd have to screw in a new fuse and then go on to taking my bath. It was such a pain. So that's how the older houses were. Now, a circuit breaker, that's a switch that automatically interrupts or shuts off your electric circuit at the first indication of an overload. Now, a circuit breaker, since now they've replaced the fuses in the modern electric circuits, but they all have the safety features of a fuse, but they don't require replacement, and they can simply be reset by switching the circuit breaker back on. So a hair dryer, okay, so it's going to have a circuit breaker located right here in the cord. You can see that. So it's located right there, and that protects both the professional and the client in case of overload or short circuit. So when a circuit breaker does switch off, you should disconnect the appliance first, check all the connections and the insulation before resetting it. So I'm going to show you a little picture here in your book, and this shows you the fuse box and the circuit breaker. And you guys are more familiar with the circuit breakers in your home. Fuse boxes, that was in the really old homes. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is grounding. Grounding completes an electric circuit, and it carries the circuit safely away to the ground, hence the name. So it is another important way to promote electrical safety. All electrical appliances must have at least the two rectangular electric connections or prongs on the plug. So here I have a cord like that to show you. Okay. Now these two prongs supply the electric current to the circuit. But if you look closely at these, you'll notice that this one here is larger than the other. Okay, and that guarantees that this plug can be inserted into the wall outlet only one way, and that protects you and your client from electric shock in the event of a short circuit. Now, for added protection, some appliances, especially ones with metal casings, they have the three-prong, the third circular electric connection that is the grounding pin. So here is the three-prong, and this one is the plug to my wax heater. And if you notice, this is the grounding pin right here, this circle one right there. That's the grounding pin, and it's designed to guarantee a safe path for electricity and protect the user from electrical shock in the event that a wire comes loose. So appliances with this circular grounding pin right here, that offers the most protection for you and for your client. So you want to use equipment as much as you can that does have that. Now, a ground fault interrupter, that's designed to protect right here. That is designed to protect from electrical shock, I couldn't think of the word, by interrupting a household circuit when there is a leak in the circuit. So here shows you a ground fault interrupter. And I'm sure you've all seen those. They are required by electrical code for receptacles in your bathroom, your kitchen, and some outside receptacles. Now, if a GFI is detected or designed, what they're designed to do is detect currents of a few milliamperes, and they'll trip the breaker at the receptacle or the breaker panel to avoid a hazardous shock. So usually they'll trip these right here. And so when you guys are working with these, if it does trip it, there's a little reset button there. And then, of course, there's the tester. So when it's working properly, a GFI has a little green light, and it'll turn red once it trips. Now, once the appliance is removed from the socket, you can reset it with the reset button like I showed you here, and then it'll start working again. But you may have to go and the circuit breaker might be tripped as well, so you may have to go and do that as well. Now, the underwriter's laboratory. That is the underwriter's laboratory. What they do is they certify the safety of electrical appliances. Curling irons, hair dryers, electric clippers, UV lamps, pedicure chairs, heating mitts, and electric files should all have that UL approval. Now, this certifies that they are safe when used according to the manufacturer's directions. So always look for that UL symbol on your electric appliances and take the time to read and follow the manufacturer's directions. So this is what they look like. Here is a toaster label, and you can see the UL certification. So what you want to do, here's a little activity. Go through your classroom or your home and look for any things that are UL certified. Look for the labels, the precautions, and the warnings on those tools, and then take notes on what you find. Okay, so we're going to talk about guidelines for safe use of electrical equipment. Now, shop fires are often caused by electrical problems, such as shorts in the wiring of the building or improper use of your appliances, extension cords, and the plugs. So careful attention to electrical safety, that does involve recommended UL guidelines manufacturer's directions, and safe instructions and policies of your establishment. So we're going to talk about some guidelines that you would follow using electricity and electrical equipment. So first of all your electrical appliances should have that UL symbol. They should be UL certified. Okay? And then you always want to read all the instructions carefully before you use any piece of electrical equipment. Always register your electrical appliances with the manufacturer so that you will be notified of any safety recalls immediately. Now disconnect all your appliances when not in use and pull on the plug part and not the cord. Okay, when you're disconnecting your appliances. And then disconnect all your electrical appliances prior to cleaning them. And you never want to poke hairpins or wires through any part of your appliance, and this includes those lint screens. Okay, inspect all your electrical equipment regularly, and you want to keep all your wires, your plugs, and your electrical equipment in really good repair. So don't use cords that have exposed wiring in any part of the cord where it attaches to the appliance. And then use only one plug in each outlet, because if you overload it, it could cause the circuit breaker to pop. Now, if more than one plug is needed in an area, make sure that you use a power strip, such as this one, with the surge protector. Okay, so you want to avoid contact for both you and your client with water, of course, and metal surfaces when you're using electricity, and don't handle electrical equipment with wet hands or while you're standing on a wet floor. So you want to keep your electrical cords off the floor and away from everyone's feet so you don't get tangled in a cord, and that could cause you or your client to trip. And then don't leave your client unattended while you have any type of electrical device hooked up to a client, such as, for instance, the galvanic machine or your high frequency. And you don't want to attempt to clean any electrical outlets while equipment is plugged in. And then, so unplug them and then go ahead and clean your outlets. And don't touch the two metal objects at the same time if either is connected to an electrical current. Now, don't step on or place objects on electrical cords, and then don't allow electric cords to become twisted. This can cause a short circuit. Don't alter your 3-prong plugs to fit into a 2-prong outlet. So the 3-prong is the one that has this third one. Don't try to break it off or something to make it work into a 2-prong outlet. And don't attempt to repair electrical appliances. If you're having some sort of electrical wiring or electrical device or problems with your electrical device or appliance, go ahead and tell your supervisor immediately, and then take that device to the repair store or call a certified electrician to come and make those repairs. Now, if you see sparks when you're plugging or unplugging an appliance, don't use that appliance or the outlet until it has been approved by a certified electrician as safe to use. Okay, verify regularly that fire extinguishers are appropriate for electrical fires, and make sure they're not expired, and that you are comfortable using one. And also, guys, know where the fire extinguishers are in your salon. And then remove lint from clothes dryers before each load to reduce the chance of a fire. So here's a little activity. Evaluate the electrical safety in your home or your classroom. what safety devices can you find in your home that have those GFI breakers and circuit breakers, and go look for surge protectors? Do you have any of those in your home? And what are some of the potential hazards in your home? And how might you address or minimize these electrical hazards? And you can share your findings if you want with me. You can send an email if you want. You don't have to do that, but if you want to, you can. It's just a little activity that you can do. All right, so the next section we're going to talk about is what to do in an electrical emergency. So virtually all electrical incidents in your salon, spa, or barbershop environment, they are related to low voltage. That's less than 500 watts on those appliances. Low voltage shocks are rarely critical, but they can be painful and it can be dangerous to some individuals. So it's really important that you guys take signs of the wear and tear seriously and replace or disconnect using appliances or outlets as soon as you notice any of those signs. So if you receive a light shock sensation while turning on or off, or plugging in or unplugging your electric appliance, this is what you should do. Stop using the appliance immediately and then turn it completely off. And then unplug it from the wall or turn off the circuit breaker at the to that outlet. And then replace that appliance or have it repaired by an authorized repair representative. And if similar issues occur with other appliances in the same outlet, discontinue that wall outlet until it has been approved for use by a certified electrician. Now, if you drop an electrical appliance in water, the first thing you want to do is, if the outlet is GFI protected, it's going to kill that circuit immediately, and you may unplug the appliance from the wall after releasing the appliance. But do not have one hand in the water and one hand at the outlet, okay? Because your body will be a conductor for the electricity. Now, if your outlet is not GFI protected, go to your breaker box and flip the circuit off, okay? And if you are unsure of which circuit controls that outlet, it's better to momentarily shut off all the power to your entire shop while you fix the situation. Now, once that power is off, unplug the item and then restore the power. And you never ever use an appliance that has been dropped in water. So when should we seek medical care after electrical shock? Well, anytime during pregnancy. And then if you have burns on the skin, particularly those that are open and they don't heal well over time. And if you're not current on your tetanus immunizations, and those are given every 5 years to adults. Okay, so that concludes this section. There is some check-in questions that you need to do, and then send those to me at Krista@oliverfinley.com. So the check-in question for this section is, what are at least 5 steps to take for electrical safety? Now that we've completed this section of the video, go ahead and read it, do the read section, and then there's a little video that you're going to watch called Hey, What's Up? And then there's a do section, electrical current matching, and another do section, electrical measurement matching. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the next section.